What's going on, people? And welcome to the Blue Steel Podcast Show. I am your co-host, LV Live, along with my co-host, Jeff. People, I just want to say thank you for all your support. We love the response we've been getting from being on camera, of course, with our show. This is ways we're trying to step it up. We're going to keep it coming. Just keep on, please, coming back and subscribing and, giving us your likes, dislikes, and all those great things about our show. But once again, please hit that like, share, subscribe button right there on YouTube. And please, once again, on Facebook, if you have not got an invite, you can request one. LV Live, JV Presents, Locker Room Talk on YouTube, on Facebook. Jeff's been putting out banging and great information regarding sports on a daily basis, man. He does a great job with that for us to support what we do. And, as you guys know, it's something that we love. It's that thing called sports. So let's get straight into it. The Last Dance episodes 5 and 6 came out this past Sunday, which I thought was, it's just amazing, man. Amazing the in-depth way they go into this thing with Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Jeff, my man, what'd you think about it, brother?
No, they've all been good. And I think something that people need to also realize is literally that they're not even done with the last 2 episodes from what I understand. Like, they're doing this, it wasn't supposed to come out till June. So
right, it's very true, very true. They fast-tracked it. They fast-tracked it.
Yeah. So that has to be stressful, doing that. So for the producers and stuff and the editors. But it's good. They've all been good. You're getting to learn some things about, the team and inside and behind the curtain, like we said. There is one thing, though, I told you I wanted to bring up, though.
Yes.
So there's the ghost of Michael Jordan, Jordan's the GOAT, etc. There's like a narrative that always annoys me because he's the only person that gets treated this way. Is like Jordan, every game Jordan had he just played great. Like he was 12 for 15, 18 for 20 from the floor. He had 32 points every game. He's remarkable every game. You know what I mean?
It's like an urban legend.
Yeah, like Mike never had a bad. Even in the playoffs, he never had a bad game. Never had a bad series.
Right.
So I wanted to bring some stats because they kind of glossed over when they played the Knicks. They was down 0-2. Game 3, they had to win. Even the way they presented it on the show, now this may have something to do with the fact that MJ he gives the last check mark on everything with this. But Game 3, he did not have a good game.
Right.
They didn't make it seem like that at all. So I got some numbers here. He was 3 for 18.
Mm-hmm.
16 for 17 from the line, which is excellent. He had 22 points. Guess who balled out, though? Scotty.
Of course.
10 for 12 from the floor, 8 for 10 from the line, 29 points. They lose that game, they don't win the series.
That's right.
And that was really glossed over. And then with the Game 4, he had 54. That series, he didn't actually play that well overall.
Right.
He shot 40% from the field, which is not good. 40% for 3. He only shot 25 threes. He made 10. That's great. 40% 3 points. Average 32, which is fine. But shooting 40% is not good. I forgot to put down Pippen's numbers, but Pippen play. It's just that I just want people to understand, like, Mike's the greatest, but he did not have a great game every single game or a great series. Because I don't think LeBron gets that same type of flexibility with the way he's viewed. That's the reason I wanted to bring that up. Just period. Doc's great, love it.
Oh God, Jeff, come on!
Come on,
about LeBron. Forget LeBron.
It doesn't even have anything to do with LeBron. It's to do with Mike. But I was just using that as an example.
Listen,
as he gets a pass with that.
Okay, I agree. As a Knicks fan, and that's why when you were talking the whole time, I'm smiling because I'm extremely excited and happy that you were stating that and how good my Knicks teams were. I remember that vividly. If people don't know, if you're not a Knicks fan, you're not going to know. I know. But that was probably our best Knicks team.
Yeah.
That's when Pat Riley was the coach. They were really, really good. Jeff Van Gundy took up what Pat Riley had left.
Right.
They were really, really, really good that year. And you have to
first seed in the East, too.
They had the number 1 seed in the East. See, that's why they were up 2 games, because they had home court. The best team that had the best record was the Phoenix Suns, who I knew we can beat because they didn't have a big man that could stop Patrick Ewing. So I knew we were good. We had forwards for Charles Barkley, which was Mason, Xavier McDaniel, and Charles Oakley. So we would have beat the Suns. So when we went up 2-0 in that series,
thought I was ready. He was like, yes.
I was electric. You know what I'm saying? I knew. I was in all my friends' faces. Yeah, it's over. But then he does what he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. He struggled those first 3 games. He did. And that's where the gambling stuff came in because there was people found out he was going to Atlantic City. Like, they knew about that. And that's when that gambling stuff started to come in. And they probably started to see that maybe that could possibly be a bigger issue for him.
Right.
But in that series, if people remember, people have to think, they have to remember, that's the game. Excuse me, that's the series where Charles Smith could not make that layup.
They showed that. They showed the multiple blocks.
That's been synonymous with the Knicks. Charles Smith missing those layups. He was getting hacked. We all know that he was getting hacked.
You ain't getting that call that time.
See what I'm saying? Exactly. He's not getting that call.
Not getting.
And everybody said, Jeff, listen, man, you're taking me back, man.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Everybody said, go up stronger. Go up stronger.
Dunk it.
Dunk it, something. Go out with the elbows.
You know he went to Pitt too, Charles Smith.
Man, and that was the series where Starks had the dunk, right?
Yeah.
So you have to understand, as a New Yorker, how the frustration of that, Jeff. Like, that haunts me that was our chip because the year after that team went to the finals.
Lost to Houston.
That's the team. Jeff Van Gundy took over for them cats. That's the team that lost. So that's what I'm saying. So when he left, that would have been Patrick Ewing's 2 rings.
Yep.
Because they would have had the momentum from that series. They would have beat Houston because they was up on Houston too. 3-2. Going back to Houston.
Oh, that is right. That is right.
And that's when Starks had the game where he missed like crazy threes. Remember? Come on, bro. I know my team, man. I remember.
Like 2 for forever.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I apologize. I went on a tangent. I'm emotional about this stuff, as you can see, right?
Hey.
But to give you your stamp, you're absolutely right. Jordan had those games, and that's when his game started to change, right? Where he started not being as athletic as he was earlier, 88, 87, when he was the man. Right? He won MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. His skills started to deteriorate a bit. He was still young, 29, 30 years old, but he didn't have the same lift. Like, his game was changing. I think he had a wrist problem too. If you remember in that series, he had a wrist brace on. Like, he had a wrist problem.
Yeah.
So that was causing him
Which
problems.
obviously led to numbers too. But
right. Yeah. But the gambling was a big deal because a lot of people felt that he was out late, partying, doing gambling. He didn't really care, which wasn't true. But of course, the media makes connections.
Right.
But Jeff, I heard what you said about LeBron. Jordan was so protected back then, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
The media, like, if you said something bad about Jordan or you tried to link it, like, you would get fired. Like, you would get ostracized. Like, you would not be able to work again wherever that city was that you worked in because it felt like you were trying to destroy who Michael Jordan was.
Right.
Back then. Like,
no social media.
Yeah.
World.
Jeff, I'm telling you, man, I remember, like, you couldn't say nothing bad about him. Not in the media.
Yeah, he was very protected. It was the image.
He was super protected. More than any player, Jeff, than I remember. Like, he was super protected. I mean, if you want to go to, like, football, maybe like Peyton Manning or something like that, all those guys, like he was just super protected. Everything was swept underneath the rug. Like, you just couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's why I think, to kind of go forward, I think that's why the gambling piece was such a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Was so huge when it started to really connect the dots about the shady individuals that he was kind of getting linked to, right? You know, even the Slim Bolger guy gambling, like and that doesn't end there. Like they're just talking about that, but
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of other
Jeff,
stuff.
you remember?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
They're
saying?
not going to get into all that because this is his. It would have to be like a unauthorized biography or something to get into the other stuff. You can look it up, and see stuff, but that's not going to be on this documentary. They're going to touch on it, show you a little bit of fun with the guards, but they're not going to get into all the details of that. So.
Right. You know what I mean? It was just a lot of things coming out at that time about him and I don't know, the shady type of characters that he was hanging out with,
Yeah.
Yeah. But Jeff, I wanted to ask you, Jeff, before, I was going to give my take, but I wanted to hear you first. What was your perception and your viewpoint on how he tried to spin, I take it as a spin, his effect on Isaiah getting on that dream team?
Man, that's like the $1 million question. I think they all had some influence on it. I don't think anybody really wanted to play Isaiah, to be honest. Now, obviously, certain players, like, they're not going to ask Sean Stockton, but your main players, Magic, Michael, Bird, ain't none of them like, him and Magic and Isaiah wasn't even cool at that point. So, Mike don't like him now. So, Bird ain't like, so they didn't want him. And to a certain extent, I actually, when I thought about it, not trying to be like emotional, because Zeke definitely deserved to be on the team in terms of who they put on there. He's a better player than Stockton to me, period. But in terms of just the team camaraderie, I agree with them. I would have messed it up. So when you're trying to build a team like that, you want everybody to be together. What if Mike say he don't want to play? We're going to keep – nah. We're going to put the team together we need to. It's not like Stockton's not a great player, Hall of Famer, et cetera. They just didn't want to mess the team chemistry up, which is fine. That's their decision. They putting the team together. It's not like they had tryouts. So, but they all had a small piece to do it. I'm sure they were just like, Chuck Daly was the coach. You know what I mean? So if it was that big a deal, I'm sure Chuck Daly had been like, nah, y'all not taking my guy. I'm not going. He did it because he wanted to be part of history. So ultimately, that's Isaiah's doing. You know what I mean? He has a part of that. He has to own some of that too, like everybody does. But I just think that's what it was. They just didn't want to play with him, which I understand. Ultimately.
Jeff, he burnt a lot of bridges, man. A lot of bridges. Like you said, I'm glad you touched on Chuck Daly because I was going to go there with that. If your head coach, the guy that got you and helped you form that team in Detroit, you won back-to-back championships with him. He has no say in getting you – that tells you everything. But he didn't have a say because who had the say were the top dogs, and that was Magic and Jordan and Bird. That was it. Yep. They didn't go to nobody else. Quiet as kept, if people don't know, Jordan didn't want to play the Olympics.
Right.
He didn't want to play. He didn't want to play at all. The person that made him play was Nike. Nike really pushed it, and then Magic gave him a call also.
Right.
And that's what kind of solidified. But if you think about it, if Rob Thorne, because that's who constructed the team, if he talked to Magic, you know what Magic told him. Who's on the team? If Isaiah here, he ain't coming.
Right.
I'm just saying that's just what it was. I'm sure he told him that. Because when Rob Thorne called him, remember Jordan said, well, who's on the team? Who's playing?
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, we know who you're talking about, and he's not playing. Okay, I'm playing.
Right.
So they knew already. So of course, Jordan didn't have a say, but technically he did have a say.
Yeah, he did, but he didn't. He didn't have to. There you go.
Right, because they knew. First of all, they knew he didn't really want to play in the first place. He just did it because he just won a championship. Nike was really the one that really pushed him because they're like, listen, this
is it.
Right. That's the one who really pushed him. And then, of course, Magic called and stuff, but they knew that he wasn't going to play if Zeke was there. You know what I'm saying? They just wasn't. I feel bad because I understand that obviously Isaiah's feelings were hurt. His ego was hurt by that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he did so many foul things to dudes back then. Like he took it too far. Like I remember last show, guys. I talked about rivalries. I'm with it. Like trust me, I'm cool with the rivalries. Me and Jeff have disagreements about it, but I understand that. But if you know that that's what it is with you and those guys, you shouldn't expect them to want to put you down on the team.
Exactly.
You should already know what time it is. Like it shouldn't be. Oh no, I mean I should expect. Why? Why would you? And you guys aren't cool outside of the game.
Right, and especially how things was then.
Nah, you know that wasn't going to happen, Jeff.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So I understand his frustration. I understand he feels like he might have been
Slighted.
Yeah, slighted or blackballed, right? That's the word I was, blackballed. And of course we understand, they're not think, I think it's also bad that they keep on saying, he wasn't as, Stockton wasn't as good as him. Yeah, we know that, but Stockton was a good damn ball player.
Oh, heck, absolutely.
He wasn't like Stockton was some scrub who never made an
Like
all-star team.
Backup point guard for Detroit on the team or something.
Right.
Stockton
was an all-star in his own right. It's just that Stockton was in the West Coast.
Right.
Stockton was the second best point guard in the West back then. I mean, you could give or take, Gary Payton and Kevin Johnson, right? KJ out there in Phoenix, right? But Stockton was putting up
younger than him.
Right. But Stockton was putting up crazy numbers in Utah.
Right.
So, you got to understand, he's the all-time, if I'm correct, Jeff, isn't he the all-time assist and steals leader for the NBA, if I'm correct?
I'm like 100%, almost 100% sure he's the assist leader. Steals, he's up there too. I don't know if he's number one or not. But there's somebody. Well, he's up there. No matter, he's top three.
Right. Zeke's not up there.
No.
I'm just saying.
Made like a multiple All NBA defensive teams too.
That's what I'm saying. So so if they have a legit backup for you, and that guy's not going to ruffle no feathers.
Exactly.
And what's crazy, Jeff? That's the same thing with any type of job you try to get. Like they're like, yo, man, look, we want to keep everybody happy.
He's trying to do,
So
why are we gonna lose all these people for this one person? Nah.
Let's go with the second best option. Let's go with that.
Right, and second best option ain't even that bad.
Right, there you go.
They ain't got that big a drop off.
Right, exactly. So I mean, yo, man. So look, I understand Zeke is tight, man, but you know what, yo, man, look, yo, man, when you make your bed, you gotta lay in it, man, and that's basically what he did. I think also too, and it's crazy, man. I'm kind of getting emotional about it, but the beginning with Kobe, man, that kind of like choked me up a bit. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie.
I didn't expect that.
I'm you know what I mean? I'm on the other side of 40, so I can speak about stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? I feel less than, But seeing Kobe up there, man, that did something to me. I'm not even gonna lie. And the way he spoke about Jordan and just how he said, he was clear. If there's no Michael Jordan, there's no Kobe Bryant.
Right.
Everything he did was based off of what MJ gave him. Yeah. Period. What he watched, what I'm saying, growing up in Philly. This is who I want to model my game after. Yep. You know what I mean? And you, being the Laker man that you are, how did you feel about that, sir?
That was man. It was emotional, man, because it was a shock. They didn't show that he was in there at all.
Right.
So I was like, oh, wow. That's cool. You know what I mean? It made you sad again. You know what I mean? Like, it's still shocking. I mean, the fact, I think everything that's going on now with the coronavirus has took us out of that mindset, but that wasn't that long ago that everything happened. You know what I mean? So, because the whole world is just crazy right now, in a lot of ways. So, but it was still like, oh man. And Jeezy's birthday was last week. Not that you try to forget about it, but we haven't really been there mentally, and it was really cool that he got a chance to be in there. That was cool. So.
Right. Yeah. But with Kobe being in it, that kind of raised my how can I say, my spidey senses to kind of start thinking about, just the difference, like I said, with today's era and yesteryear, right? I'm gonna call it that. All right. The OGs. Kobe and MJ, to me, they're like, when I mean quick, like just the alpha of alpha males, like there's no touching that. And I think when you start trying to compare LeBron, I'm starting to come into the whole thing like it's not fair to LeBron. You know why? Because he's not part of their DNA. He's just not.
Different play.
And I think that when you start hearing these stories about Jordan and who he was, because as you're seeing, he wasn't perfect. He had a lot of shortcomings. You start to understand that back then, it was just a different type of guy back then, right, Jeff? Like just different type of dudes with different mentalities. From Magic to Michael to Bird, of course, Isaiah we touched on, right? Even Charles Barkley. I'm going to call them this. They were like great white sharks back then in the ocean. And I don't think these guys today, skill-wise, yes, but mental strength, Jeff, just to be able to get through certain things and deal with the trials and tribulations as a player mentally, I don't know if a lot of guys today could have been able to deal with those guys dealt with. Because as you know, being an athlete is not total skills.
No.
This has got to be locked in right here. And I remember hearing back then there were so many guys that Jordan ran off the team because they just didn't have the mental strength to deal with him. Yeah. Just who he was. Kobe would do the same thing. He would challenge guys in practice. To where guys sometimes, they even said, Jeff, if you remember, before Kobe won his chips, they said his last two, it was hard to get guys to get over there because they did not want to play with Kobe.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that too with Mike. There was a lot of that. And I think that with those guys, man, it was a different type of guy, like a different type of dude. I don't think, my opinion, and that's why I'm throwing it out here to you, I don't think a guy like KD could have survived in that league. He would have been a player, but I think he would have struggled big time, Jeff. I don't know certain players on those levels. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't see it, Jeff. What say you, sir?
So it brings up a couple of different things. It's different. I understand, because I agree to a certain extent. The game was a lot different. So there's a few different things that I think that changed. One is the money, and I think that's first. Mm-hmm. Guys wasn't making as much money back then. So, they flew commercial flights.
Right.
Now the Bulls, you saw them on their own plane, but before that, like that was coming out of that. Like in the 80s, I don't think most of those people was flying. Most of the NBA players was flying, they own private planes, stuff like that. So you made a lot more money. When you make more money, you could let things roll off. When you average, when you make it $40 million a year, you could be like, I don't care about that. My checks is looking real nice.
Practice? So, what you know about practice? Practice?
Right, exactly. You make it way more than the coach. Man, I ain't listening to you, whatever. So it brings a different mentality. So that's part of the money. Two, we discussed this a number of times, AAU. I think AAU is watered down the value of an actual game. Wow. I said this before because you play so many games. These kids, they play 8 weeks in a row. You play 4 to 10 games a weekend. That one game ain't that important.
Starting from what age, Jeff? Would you say 10 years old, AAU?
They got them playing in second grade. But yes, when the heavy travels, like it's more middle school, 11, 12, up to high school. You play that many games, switch teams, dudes coming playing one weekend. It waters down the value of a game. We'll talk a little more about this because this got stuff to do with, the NBA and all that. We'll talk about that later. Once you rent, you good. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to maintain. So, anyway, that's a big part of it as well. And in the rules are different. You see those games, those scores is like, low 90s, mid 90s, and low hundreds. Even with that triple overtime, it was like 120 something, whatever it was they showed in the doc. You can get that now. You get like 115 now. They want more scoring. They change the rules, stuff like that. Make the game more family friendly, etc. So all those things play a big part of it. And when you go through that, now we're talking 25 plus years ago.
Right.
And it's going to change the type of player. If they had the same rules, great players are going to be great no matter what the generation, in my opinion. You can put any great player in any generation. He's a great player. He's going to be great no matter what, because they will obviously adapt to whatever's going on.
Right.
So KD, those type of guys, now they may not have had the same opportunities because KD's 7 feet. They might have tried to put him on the post.
Right.
But I think if you got a great player, you got a great player no matter what. So they would succeed in any generation. But yeah, I agree to a certain extent. But those are the things that really changed it and made it different to what we got today.
Right. Very good. And also too, I would say probably too, to kind of chime in, I would say the influx of the European players have played a big role.
That too.
You know what I mean? Because if you look at the league today, the league is more like a European game than the old NBA.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's definitely kind of taking a spin on things. So, you know what I mean? I definitely agree with that. I just think that, those alpha males, those I call them great white sharks, those guys, they're like dinosaurs now, man. They're extinct.
Yeah.
And if you are kind of like that, you kind of get kicked out the league in a sense, because I heard a couple of guys like that, like Steven Jackson, if you remember him. He was kind of similar to that, but they said he was causing problems in the locker room. See, they get those guys out quick.
Yeah, they don't. It's too corporate now. They ain't got time.
Right.
They ain't got time for that.
Right.
Unless you like Kobe, they ain't got time for that.
That's right. That's right.
Man, you average 12 points, man. We'll get some else.
Yeah. Nah, totally agree, man. But hey, man, look, the show's coming out this weekend. It's gonna be 7 and 8.
Correct.
7 and 8, which should be extremely exciting, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I don't know how it is over by you, but I think the weather, they're starting to open things back up. So hopefully sports can start rocking again. I know they're really, I know they're really pushing for the NFL to really open on time. They're really pushing.
NFL is gonna play. So here's something else, a little nugget for people. 90% of the revenue for the NFL is from TV. They don't need the gate. They can play empty stadium. Doesn't matter. It'll look weird, but they're gonna play. As long as they can do something where they keep the players healthy, they're playing. It's different in college football, where like 40% or so of the revenue is dependent upon the gate. It's a big difference. So NFL can play as long as the TV and they got cameras.
Wow, look at that, Jeff. See that?
They
now
have 20 camera people in the stadium.
Wow, that has a different spin on it, because now if you notice, they're also playing baseball over there in Korea. They got masks on. I mean, the umpires got masks on, but the players don't.
Right.
So I think when the players are in the dugout, they have to put the mask on. But if in baseball, you kind of have your distance anyway. Center field.
Yeah, you're far from people. You ain't 6 feet from people. You got areas of the field you play. So yeah, they can play that. I just don't know how they're gonna play in Arizona, like you said, before it's too hot out here. But they can play football as long as they can keep the players healthy. They don't need the gate. People will just watch at home.
Wow, look at that. So now you have me excited now, Jeff.
I mean, like I said, unless they can't do something with the players being healthy, they don't need the gate. They don't need fans. So
right.
They can still play.
Sounds good. Hey man, great show, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey people, listen, thank you again for all your support. Continue to come through and check us out. And once again, also too, for comments and statements about our show, hit us up at bluesteelshow@gmail.com. bluesteelshow@gmail.com. Also, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. If you have a friend, please introduce them to the show. And also, too, once again, come on Facebook if you would like an invite. LV Live, JB Presents, a Locker Room Talk. Great content. It gets us ready for our show. And once again, if you have statements about that, anything, we can definitely try to put it into the show. Me and Jeff usually answer those questions or statements that you guys have either at the beginning of the show, at the end of the show. We just need you guys to come through and just bring that type of stuff, and we'll definitely put it out there and, definitely try to squeeze you guys in. All right? Jeff, from the East Coast to the West Coast, brother. Great job. You take it easy. Be safe out there, homeboy.
Yeah, you too. Definitely. You too.
All right, brother. Peace, man.
All right. Later.